So I have another project I've been looking to work on all year pretty much, or since the summer when I picked this up. I finally got myself a Mac Mini just so I'd have an Apple device just to mess around with Mac OS and do some other small things. I also decided with a Mac Mini because it's a lot more compact than a MacBook or iMac. I don't have a space for an iMac right now, and I literally can just sit this next to or on top of my main desktop. So I figured I'd show you this little project. I ordered a bunch of tools from iFixit, and while I'm at it, I might as well mention that I had a tool that broke, and I can't find the broken one, but I know I still have it somewhere. So I had one of these break on me, and iFixit has a lifetime warranty, so they sent me a replacement one, and not only did they do that, I didn't realize before that there's little screws on the side that you can remove the part that broke off. It's the little part that I had that broke off because I improperly used it. Sent me an invoice. They also sent me little replacements for that part. So once I find the old one, I can just unscrew it and put it on. So literally I have a few spares of these. I have a spare of this now. And they sent me some little stickers along with this repair manifesto sticker, which is pretty cool. I'm sure Apple would be very unhappy if they saw this. They are very against you repairing their stuff that they buy, which is unfortunate because they also make it harder and harder for you to self-repair. Oh, looks like the replacement one was inside there. I also ordered a screw extractor kit. I probably won't use this for this project at all, but I've had stripped screws before and I really don't like dealing with those, so this is going to assist me whenever that happens. Before I brought the Pro Kit from Best Buy, I also ordered a few spare parts. I got a couple spare picks, a wedge, I got a spare one of these, little pliers, and a suction cup. My main purpose of this video was to get this Mac Mini and then upgrade it as much as I can, basically. So what I've already done is remove the original RAM, which it had 4 gigs when I bought it. It's a Mac Mini late 2012, so this can go up to 16 gigs. And I got Apple official RAM off of eBay. I maxed it out already, so that part's taken care of. It's relatively easy to get the bottom part off. RAM upgrade's the simplest project for this. I also went and I replaced the original hard drive inside of it with a SSD. I only put a 120 gigabyte one in for now because I don't need too much space on the Mac OS. But we're going to get to the main part of this video. iFixit packet. I bought the dual drive kit. These Mac Minis can actually fit 2 drives in them since they no longer have an optical drive in the bottom. So what I'm going to do is take the main drive where it is here. I'm going to fully take this apart because that's what you have to do for this model. And then that's going to be mounted down in the bottom part. And in the second bay I'm going to put a second SSD. And I've been debating what I want to put as far as operating systems so far. I've been debating what I wanted to do with this as far as the second SSD. I thought a second storage unit, maybe just put the hard drive in there as a second drive. But I decided I'm going to put a second SSD in there, and I'm going to put a Windows boot camp on that, so that way I can finally test Windows on a Mac hardware. So let's see what we got in the kit. Alright. You got these that help hold the drive in place. This tool is going to be useful later. You literally have to pull out the whole motherboard when you do this. So you have to do a basic full disassembly just for this project. Yep, there's our second data cable. Also, since I have multiple monitors and different connections, and none of my standard monitors have HDMI, I have multiple adapters. I got HDMI to DVI. I got the mini display port / Thunderbolt 2. I gotta not say Thunderbolt 3, that's the thing now, to DVI. And then I have the VGA, which I actually used this to hook up to my Trinitron monitor before, and it looks relatively good, so I might do that at the end of the video. Another thing I picked up locally at Goodwill was this Apple Magic Keyboard for 10 bucks. It's a wireless keyboard that connects via Bluetooth. It's pretty okay, except for somehow it got bent slightly, so if I put on a flat surface, it will wobble when I type. So let's get going to the teardown. I'm going to time-lapse a bit of this, but first we got to remove the RAM. We have to remove this fan. We have to remove the Wi-Fi plate that also holds the solid-state drive in place that I have mounted in there. And once I do that, I'll swap over and we'll have to remove other parts in the main board. Alright, so now we're at a point where I've never went past before. I have the Wi-Fi antenna, the covers, the fan, and then the drive out of place. So our next step is to remove the main motherboard and everything attached to it as far as I can remember. I'm going to look up the iFixit guide that I looked up before when I got these tools, and we'll go from there. This is the most scary part of this whole procedure. I'm at a point where I have to remove the motherboard. This is where this tool comes in play. If you don't have one of these, you can clip off a coat hanger and kind of just bend in the shape. I've seen that done before. But what you basically do is slide it into these two holes on the motherboard. And it really feels weird to do this, because you literally use this to pry the whole main board out. What I suggest doing is if you have an anti-static bag, you put it on there. Obviously my thing doesn't give me much room to set that down somewhere safe. So it looks like there's another T6 screw here. If I remove this, I should be able to remove the power supply. It's hard to see it here, but there's a little thing, and that's what holds the power supply. And then here's an odd part. You're supposed to rotate the power supply slot at a 90-degree angle, and that will let you pull this out. So once that's loose, you can pull out the power supply for the whole Mac Mini. It's my first time doing this. Be careful when you do this if you have no experience. And there's a screw over here that's holding the hard drive bay into place. Now we can slide out the lower part of the assembly, and this is the point where we're going to mount the hard drive into, these little 4 points. So this is where the little bag of these rubber knobs and these little holders come into play. What we basically got to do is dump it out, and we got to slide these little rubber things into each one of these holes. I did work a few years as a computer repair technician, and I don't have a massive amount of experience with Apple products, but out of all the Mac Minis that I worked on, I don't think any of them had a second drive mounted to them. I don't know what options from Apple as a manufacturer gave you for a second drive either. Obviously there's a slot to put something in here, and there's no longer any optical drives. So I don't know anybody that's done this, and I also don't know what options Apple would have gave you directly. Alright, time to attach the data cable and make sure it's bent in the proper way. Now definitely double check and make sure you have it facing the right way, because this SATA cable is only going to attach at one point. So you don't want to have this partially put together and then get in the wrong direction. Alright, so now the solid state's secured at all 4 points. Okay, so the assembly's all done. What we'll do next is I'll clean up this setup, change the camera angle, and then we'll make sure this boots up normal and then go to the next step of forming that SSD and setting up a boot camp. So I got a little setup going just so I can test this out, make sure everything's okay. Let's move that down a little bit. And we'll see if it boots up normal. Alright, that's looking good so far. So that's another good sign. It does see the other drive that I had installed with an old Windows partition. There's nothing important on there, so I'm just going to whack it. So I haven't made a boot camp myself in a while, and it looks like I need to use a flash drive, so I'm going to use one of my spare SanDisk ones. This is 16 gigs. I got a bundle of these. With Windows 10, I think now you need at least a 16 gig drive. Before it was only about 8 gigs. I almost forgot, I need a Windows 10 image, and luckily I have a bunch of them saved on my external drive in case I need anything. Okay, now I got a Windows ISO ready, I got the flash drive ready. We're going to create this boot camp partition. Usually I would put this through a capture card, but right now I'm doing some stuff with my other main setup. So we'll just stick to it this way. So I've let it go for a few hours now to try to install the software for Windows and make the second drive turn into a Windows partition and boot. So far it hasn't been working. I don't know if it keeps on getting snagged somewhere. A lot of things that should be working aren't, so I don't know if there's something wrong with the drive. I'll probably troubleshoot it some more and then get back to it. I thought about it, I'm just going to end the video here. My main concern was really just getting the drive in properly and securing the drive out in there previously properly. And all that's been done. It sees the drive okay. I could make it a storage unit if I wanted. And I thought I'd cover one more thing, which was kind of annoying, is it was a pain, but I got iMovies installed for this older version of macOS and this Mac. It looks like Apple makes it hard to get anything that's not off the App Store and not at least on Catalina anymore. And I assure you that within the next month and year, that'll be more and more true. And I have no idea what most of these older programs and Macs are going to do because they're going to swap over to Big Sur, making a lot of that null and non-functional. I don't think it's going to perform too well with older hardware. I'm going to see if I can get that Windows partition running, and that will be a part 2 of this video if that does happen. And then I also was challenged to run Flight Sim on it. I do not think that's going to work out, but we'll try it anyway if we get to that point. We're also almost at the end of the year, so expect my final video on my personal channel just to be my end of the year video, unless one thing shows up, but we'll see. Alright, take care everybody. I still haven't thought of a good outro, but I still hope to see everybody next year. And if you enjoy any of the stuff I made, please put a like below, or give me some kind of critical feedback, or tell me what you did like in the comments. Bye for now.